The most painful part of losing someone isn't always losing them. It's realizing they're gone, but your heart still waits for them every single day. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a memory, unable to move forward, even though they've already moved on? You smile in public, pretend everything's fine, but deep inside, you're haunted by someone who's no longer there. It feels like your heart is holding on to a ghost, doesn't it? You keep asking yourself, why can't I let go? Why does it still hurt this much? Why do they feel so alive in my mind even though they've left? In today's video, we're going to dive deep into the real reasons why letting go feels so hard. Not the cliches, not the generic advice, but the raw emotional truths we often hide, even from ourselves. So if you've ever loved deeply, lost painfully, and still feel trapped in their absence, this video is for you. Stay with me till the end, because the answers you've been searching for might just be waiting here, right now. Number 1. You're holding on to what could have been. We often don't fall in love with reality. We fall in love with potential. The potential of how things could have been if timing, communication, or circumstances were better. This is where heartbreak becomes especially difficult. When someone leaves, the physical presence might be gone, but the emotional blueprint, the possibilities, the future you imagined with them, still lingers in your mind. You don't just miss them, you miss the version of life you thought you were building together. That future becomes a ghost that haunts your present. You might think about the trips you planned, the conversations about kids, the promises whispered during late-night calls. Even if the relationship had its cracks, the highlight reel always wins in your memory. You replay only the best parts, ignoring the arguments, the doubts, and the red flags. Why? Because the human heart clings to hope. It doesn't want to believe that all that emotion, time, and energy was for nothing. This emotional investment turns into attachment, and that attachment transforms into longing for something that was never fully real. What makes it even more painful is the illusion that you were so close to something perfect. Just one more effort, one more apology, one more chance, and things might have been different, right? This mindset traps you in a never-ending cycle of what-ifs. But the truth is, real love isn't built on fantasy. It's built on mutual effort, consistency, and emotional safety in the present, not potential. Letting go of someone doesn't mean those dreams were worthless. It means you're ready to create new dreams grounded in reality. You deserve a love that lives in the now, not in the memory of what never fully was. Number 2. Your identity was tied to them. One of the most overlooked reasons people struggle to move on is because they've tied their entire identity to the person they loved. When you deeply connect with someone, your sense of self starts to overlap with theirs. Their validation becomes your confidence. Their affection becomes your fuel. Over time, you stop being a separate individual and begin to define yourself by the role you play in their life. You may not even notice it happening. It starts subtly. You change the way you dress because they liked a certain style. You start watching their favorite shows. You make decisions based on what would make them happy instead of what's best for you. Slowly, your preferences, boundaries, and goals begin to blur into theirs. So, when they leave, you feel lost, not just emotionally, but existentially. You don't just lose a relationship. You lose the person you thought you were. and that loss is terrifying. What hurts even more is that you probably felt most alive, most valuable, and most seen through their eyes. So now that they're gone, you're left wondering, who am I without them? That question keeps you stuck. But the answer is powerful. You are someone capable of rediscovering your worth without needing another person to reflect it back to you. You are someone who can rebuild, reinvent, and rise. This is your chance to reconnect with your own voice, your passions, your independence. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it's confusing. But it's also a sacred opportunity. Grieve the person. But don't forget to reintroduce yourself to you, because your identity was never supposed to belong to someone else. It's always been yours. Number 3. The pain became familiar. Emotional pain has a strange ability to feel like comfort after a while. We're wired to seek familiarity, even if that familiarity hurts. When someone we love leaves us, we're plunged into emotional chaos. At first, the heartbreak is sharp and consuming. But as days pass, that sadness becomes part of your routine. You wake up with it. You fall asleep next to it. It becomes like a shadow that follows you everywhere, and eventually you begin to mistake it for a companion. Why does this happen? Because the pain keeps you connected to the person. Even if they're gone, the hurt becomes a way of keeping their presence alive. The tears, the longing, the replaying of memories, all of it serves as proof that the love was real. It's your mind's way of holding on. And soon you begin to fear healing, because healing feels like forgetting. Letting go of the pain feels like betrayal, as if moving on erases the value of what you shared. But that's a lie our emotions tell us. Love and loss don't need to be validated through endless suffering. You don't have to bleed to prove that you once loved deeply. True healing honors the love by transforming it, not by keeping yourself stuck in sadness. When you release the pain, you're not forgetting them. You're remembering you. You're choosing joy, growth, and light, even if they're not there to see it. Familiar pain is still pain. It may feel safer than the unknown, but it keeps you from living fully. You weren't meant to survive in sadness forever. Let it go, not because they didn't matter, but because you do. Number 4. You never got closure. Closure is the emotional punctuation at the end of a relationship, and without it, the story just loops endlessly. When someone disappears from your life without giving answers, or gives you a vague reason like, "It's not you, it's me," your mind refuses to accept the ending. You keep looking for clues, decoding old conversations, and hoping one day they'll reach out and explain everything. This lack of closure keeps your heart restless. You wonder if you misread their love. You replay the good moments, trying to match them with the sudden coldness. You obsess over whether there's someone else, if they lied, or if they ever truly cared. And the worst part? You blame yourself. You think if you were more attractive, more understanding, more enough, they might have stayed. This self-blame becomes toxic, stealing your peace and self-worth. But here's the reality. Not all people are capable of giving you the closure you need. Some are too selfish. Some are too emotionally immature. And some simply don't care enough to offer that final conversation. Waiting on closure from someone like that keeps you trapped in their emotional prison. The power, then, lies in creating closure for yourself. Write them a letter you never send. Talk to a therapist. Reflect on the red flags you ignored, and most importantly, realize that their silence is an answer. It speaks volumes about their character and the way they valued your heart. You don't need a grand explanation to move forward. Sometimes the real closure comes when you stop waiting for theirs and start giving yourself permission to let go. Your healing is not dependent on their apology. It's dependent on your decision to stop chasing answers and start choosing peace. Number 5. You're afraid of facing life alone. Let's be honest. Being alone after a deep connection can feel like falling into an emotional abyss. We're not just scared of being without them. We're scared of facing life without anyone. We live in a world where being in a relationship is seen as a sign of success, stability, and even identity. So, when someone leaves, you don't just lose a partner. You feel like you've lost your future, your worth, and your place in the world. You may find yourself constantly checking your phone, feeling a heavy silence in your home, and experiencing moments where you don't know what to do with yourself. That silence is not just about loneliness. It's about confronting the parts of you that you avoided by being with them. You're now face to face with your own insecurities, fears, and emptiness. But this solitude is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's where your true self gets to speak, where you learn to nurture your inner world, where you begin to rebuild your emotional independence. It's uncomfortable, yes, but growth always starts in discomfort. The fear of being alone is real, but it's not a life sentence. It's a transitional phase, a necessary one. This is your chance to become your own anchor. To do things that light you up without needing someone else to witness it. To realize that your worth was never supposed to depend on another person's presence. When you embrace solitude, you create space. Not just for healing, but for the right people to come in. People who love you for you, not for the version you molded to please someone else. Letting go doesn't mean you'll be alone forever. It means you're ready to make peace with being whole, even when no one else is there to complete you. So if you're still wondering why you can't let go of someone who's already gone, know this: you're not weak. You're human. You loved deeply. You gave pieces of your soul to someone who couldn't stay. And that kind of pain doesn't just disappear overnight, but it also doesn't have to define your future. You deserve to stop surviving and start living again. You deserve a peace that isn't based on someone else's presence. You deserve to find yourself, your real self, beyond the love you lost. If this video touched your heart, I invite you to subscribe to this channel for more real, powerful, and healing insights on love, heartbreak, and emotional strength. Leave a comment below and tell me what part hit you the most. Your story matters. And here, you're not alone. Until next time, be strong, be kind to yourself, and always remember, your healing begins the moment you choose yourself.